Well, sovereign debt has anxieties running high in markets around the globe. How risky is the U.S.? Sara Eisen gave it a credit score. What did you find?
Well, the good news first is that the U.S. would most likely qualify for a credit card or a mortgage.
Or a toaster?
Or a toaster, right. Here's how we figured out the credit score. We looked at Fico model, and what goes into that basically is the payment history, the amount of money owed, add that with the length of the credit history and the types of credit used along with new credit diversification. Those are all the components of the credit score. So how did the U.S. stack up? Looking at the payment history, rock solid, of course. The U.S. has never defaulted on a payment. Look at the amounts owed. This is a negative, though, because what you see is the debt outstanding has been growing exponentially as the U.S. digs itself deeper into debt. Length of the credit history. Here's a plus, Mike, because we have a very long period, about 2 centuries, even more, of the U.S. government making good on its payments. So that is definitely a plus. New credit and types of credit. We lump these two together to reveal the negative aspect here for the U.S. Basically, the U.S. has a ton of credit cards under its belt. New ones especially. It's taken on Fannie and Freddie, guaranteed auto union pensions, other newfound sources of debt. So, Mike, add it all up, we gave it a 680. Perfect credit, of course, you know, is 800. So it still makes the U.S. a prime borrower, although just barely. And you can see, though, the long payment history of making good on its credit. That's definitely a plus. But you balance it out with some worries, and you can see why people are still wary. You have total debt outstanding climbing and all sorts of new sources of debt adding to the mix.
Factor in the fact that we can also print our own money.
That's right, and that definitely helps. You know, that helps the U.S. credit standing, and that's why Tim Geithner has reassured the markets that the U.S. isn't going to lose its pristine AAA status. If you look, though, against other pig countries, you know, the pigs are very much in the news. So we did some credit scores for Greece, came up with 580 for Greece. And the key here is you have to look at the total debt of these nations relative to the size of their economy. So the U.S. has 85% debt to GDP. Greece, on the other hand, has about 108. One of the bad ones, Italy, though, it has about 116, Mike. So you can see that the U.S. is not as bad in terms of debt to GDP.
Not as bad, but still something for investors to think about. Sara Eisen, thank you very much.